You've got to watch your inner conversation and discipline your thinking and your imagination, because your mind will take you on a wild trip. So my mind said, hey Les, this guy's going to wipe you out. You can't compete with him. Because I heard these guys, they were talking about all that they had going for them. And so I became afraid, and I was thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't go in there. Sometimes you got to talk to yourself. I started talking to myself and said, Les Brown, let me tell you something. What do you care about these guys and their funds and all their money? You've got 6 children you've got to feed. I said, don't you do nothing till you hear from me. And I got that contract too. So when you have your lower self talking to you, telling you what you can't do, be your own motivator. You've got to have a good conversation to yourself, and you build yourself up, and you'll feel your energy level coming up, and people will feel that around you. See, now, if you go through life being afraid, they can pick up that fear. So that's why you've got to stand up inside yourself.
This pain is too much. The pain of ignoring it, the pain of looking the other way, the pain of making the best out of a bad situation, the pain of dealing with my inability to walk into the unknown. I had never had surgery. I couldn't imagine what it would be like. They say, we're going to cut into your back 4 inches. I thought, not mine, you're not going to cut me up like you're slicing ribs at a barbecue. But the pain, you're weighing pain. I wasn't weighing promises. I wasn't weighing what God was going to do in my life. I was trying to go the way of least resistance. We get trapped. We get trapped in our relationships. We get trapped in our health. We get trapped in the argument. I heard this, I heard that, I heard that, and we get trapped until being trapped makes us sick. In fact, you have to have the adaptability in life to be able to change course. Life keeps changing, and as life keeps changing and circumstances keep changing, you got to be flexible enough to change on a dime and turn back this way. And if you don't make the right switch, you find yourself stuck. Then you realize I'm getting older, and I don't know what it feels like to have lived my best life. I've not lived at the top of what my potential was. I've not fulfilled my purpose. I've not finished my course because I wasn't living my best life. I was surviving my old life.
I never say, hope it's a good day today. No, I say, today is going to be a great day. I claim it. I have a journal. I sit down. I just ask God to show me what I should learn today. I open the book to whatever He wants me to read. And I read it, I highlight it, I take notes about what I learned, and I try to put it into action. And that's every day. Gee, I don't have time to do that. But you do have time. You should make time. Because the more grateful you become, the more things God will give you to be grateful for.
I still believe. We all have promises we're standing on, dreams we're hoping will come to pass. It's easy to believe at first, but what happens when nothing is improving? We've had setbacks, the door didn't open, our health didn't get better. That's a test. Before the promise comes to pass, most of the time, you have to go from I believe to I still believe. I was hoping to get a good medical report, wasn't what I thought, but I still believe I'm going to get well. Been praying for my child a long time. He hasn't gotten back on course, but I still believe he will fulfill his destiny. Still believe means you're not moved by what's not changing. You're not discouraged by how long it's taking, by the setback, the disappointment. You know God is still on the throne. He's ordering your steps. What He promised is on the way. Don't get talked out of what you're believing for. When you're tempted to get discouraged, just switch over from I believe to I still believe. The pandemic has slowed my business, but I still believe I'm going to have a blessed year. Struggled with this addiction a long time. Thoughts tell me it's permanent, but I still believe I'm going to live free. God is looking for I still believe people. You had every right to give up. The disappointment should have discouraged you. The setback should have talked you out of it. You haven't seen any sign of things changing, but you keep believing. You keep praising. You keep thanking God it's on the way. You keep acting like it's going to happen. All the facts say it's impossible. Your attitude is, that's okay. God can do the impossible. In the natural, there's no way. I'm not worried. God is supernatural. The medical report says you're not going to get well. Just learn to live with it. I'm not worried. God can do what medicine cannot do. He said the number of my days He will fulfill. I still believe. Maybe you tried to accomplish a dream. No doors open. You were turned down for the loan. The people you need weren't there for you. Thoughts tell you it's too late. You're too old. It would have happened by now. That's all a part of the process. God didn't give you the dream and not have a way to bring it to pass. He's already taken into account all the setbacks, the delays, the betrayals, the closed doors. He's watching to see if you still believe. Are you going to get talked out of it? Give up on a dream because it hasn't happened yet? Let go of a promise because you haven't seen anything improving? God didn't change His mind. He doesn't abort dreams. What He's promised is still on the way. He just needs some I still believe faith. Faith that says, I've seen the obstacles. The opposition is bigger, but I still believe we can get the Compact Center. I don't know how we can pay for it. We don't have the finances, but I still believe Jehovah Jireh, the Lord our provider, will supply all of our needs. Don't get talked out of your dreams. Switch over to I still believe. I still believe means the disappointment is not going to cause you to get discouraged. The negative chatter, the people who don't believe in you, is not going to dampen your faith. How long it's taking, who did you wrong, the environment you were raised in is not going to stop your destiny. Pass the test. God knows how long it's been. He's seen the disappointments, how you prayed, done the right thing, but it hasn't improved. Your time is coming. It's not too late. You haven't missed it. Circumstances didn't stop it. What God put in your heart is still on the way. There was a young boy. He grew up in a small village in East Africa. He loved school, loved to learn. As a little boy, his dream was to go to college. That was unheard of. The people there were very poor. On top of that, they were suffering from a huge famine, struggling to survive. His father was killed when he was 7. His mother died when he was 12. He went to live with his grandmother. She became very ill and he ended up her main caretaker. He would get up at 5 in the morning and study for an hour. Then it was an hour and a half walk to get water for the day. After making his grandmother breakfast, he would go to the village school. All the odds were against him. How could he get a college education? An orphan, living in the slums, no money, no one to look after him? But this young man had I still believe faith. Despite his environment, despite what looked impossible, every night he would pray, God, I want to go to college. I want to make a difference with my life. Even though I don't see how it can work out, I still believe you can make it happen. In that country, the children only went to school through junior high. You had to pay for high school. Only 1% could afford it. At 12 years old, one night he had a dream. He saw a house with a man in it named Mr. Stanley. He was from a foreign country. In this dream, Mr. Stanley helped him with his tuition. He knew exactly where the house was. The next day, he went there. Guards were all around it. He told the officers he wanted to see Mr. Stanley. They were surprised that he knew the man's name. Intrigued, Mr. Stanley allowed him in. The young man explained his situation, how he had a dream to continue learning but didn't have the funds. Mr. Stanley was so impressed, he said, I'll not only pay your tuition, but I'll buy all your books and all your supplies. He did so well in high school, the teachers got him an internship working in the parliament. When he finished high school, he received a full scholarship to come to college in the United States. Now he's back home doing great things in his country. When you have I still believe faith, miracles are set in motion. Angels go to work. Favor, healing, divine connections. God will make things happen that seem unlikely, out of the ordinary. Are you letting your circumstances talk you out of what God put in your heart? You believed at one time, but you had obstacles, didn't work out, nobody would help. Now you've quit believing. God still wants to bring it to pass, but you have to get in agreement with Him and say, God, I still believe it can happen. I still believe I can have this baby. I still believe my family can be restored. I still believe I can live healthy and whole. I still believe I can start my business, write my book, pay my house off. Joel, I tried and it didn't work out. That's part of the process. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Those are tests that you have to pass. God wouldn't have allowed the difficulty, the delay, the disappointment if it was going to stop your purpose. You have to have a made-up mind that you're going to believe until you see that promise come to pass. This is what Abraham did. God gave him the promise that his wife Sarah was going to have a baby, but they were too old. Abraham was in his 80s. Sarah had gone through the change of life. She had been barren, never had children. If God had given her this promise in her 20s or in her 30s, that would make sense. She could believe it. But now she's way past the childbearing years. Sometimes God puts promises in our heart that seem too late. We would believe it if it happened earlier, but now we don't see how. Many times God does things out of normal timing. He has unscheduled blessings. We didn't see it coming. We thought we missed our chance. That season was over. You don't know what God is up to. He's going to do some things out of season when it doesn't typically happen.